the rhythm bleeds into the vein. A digital erosion of the grain. I'm mapping out the static in the chest, where every hollow circuit finds its rest. The oxygen is heavy with the rust, converting every memory to dust. Is there a signal in the white machine, or just the echo of a ghost unseen? The sublease swallows every word I spoke. The architecture is a cruel joke. I'm counting heartbeats in the low delay, watching the organic fade away. Disconnect the pulse, reset the frame. We are the friction in the beat. Divide, nowhere for the chemical to hide. A fracture in the resonant design, crossing every paralyzed line. The rhythm is a predator at play, tearing the internal wall away. Nothing remains, only the sound. The neural pathways are a jagged map, falling into every liquid trap. I'm breathing in the carbon in the lead, feeding on the visions in my head. Is this the sanctuary of the void, or just the shadow of a life destroyed? The pressure rises in the copper skull. A resonance is beautiful and null. It's hollow. It's hollow. Can you feel the weight? Can you feel the weight? The signal is dead.
Razor sharp, a cold vibration on a frozen heart. I'm drifting through the orbital decay, where every satellite has lost its way. The oxygen is counting down to naught, inside a cage of titanium and thought. Is there a signal in the solar wind, or just a vacuum where the skies have sinned? The gravity's pulling at the skin, a desperate battle that I cannot win. The blackness is a mouth that's open wide, there is nowhere for the element to hide. Cut the line, watch the drift. Watch the drift. We are the debris of a lonely flight, a spark of carbon in the eternal night. The void is just a hollow silver bell. The freezing silence of a private hell. Is this the sanctuary of the ghost? A long way from the planetary host. Nothing speaks, only the cold. The glass is frosting with a bitter rhyme, a slow suspension of the fabric's time. I'm staring at the blue and distant spark, a tiny jewel in the velvet dark. The radiation is a silent hum, the only rhythm that I've now become is the speed evolution of the void. The architecture of life speaks only the cold. Battery failure, hush your loss. 0G, 0 soul.
A hall of white, a clinical erasure of the light. I'm mapping out the chemical defect, the only legacy that we protect. The needles are requiring the arm, a shock detection from the internal harm. Is there a soul beneath the sterile gauze, or just the movement of the biological laws? Saline is ocean in the vein, drowning the memory of every stain. The monitor is a steady green line, a cold geometry of the design. Just a dose, freeze the flow. We are the patients of a velvet ward. A quiet tension in the spinal cord. The anesthesia is a heavy cloud. A silver lining on a plastic shroud. Is this the sanctuary of the pew? The architecture of a broken window, nothing feels. Only the dress. The scalpel is a mirror for the mind, leaving the heavy human grief behind. I'm replacing every heartbeat with a click, the slow recovery from the visceral sick. The glass is foggy with the chemical breath, the slow negotiation with the digital death. Is this the evolution of the cure? Oh, wait a minute.
microscopic spark. The rhythm is a hammer on the soul, beyond the reach of any self-control. Find the key, lock the frame. We are the motion of a dead machine, a cold vibration in the space between the architecture of a metal heart, where every fracture is a work of art. Is this the sanctuary of the tick, the slow momentum of the visceral sick? Nothing stops, only the ground. The pendulum is cutting through the room, a silver needle on a heavy loom. I'm weaving every second into lead, a conversation for the clockwork dead. The mercury is rising in the tube, inside the prison of a hollow cube. Is this the evolution of the gear, the transformation of a human sphere? Click and drag, the mainspring snaps, the mainspring snaps. Time is bleeding, time is bleeding. We are the motion of a dead machine, a cold vibration in the space between the architecture of a metal heart, where every fracture is a work of art. Is this the sanctuary of the tick, the slow momentum of the visceral sick? Nothing stops, only the ground. Spring fatigue, counterclockwise, last rotation. Silence. The skyline is a fever of the grid, hiding everything the system did. I'm tracing every fiber in the optic wire, a co-conduction of a liquid fire. The concrete is a sponge for the rain, drinking every sorrow from the drain. Is there a signal in the city noise, or just the rattle of the broken toys? The neon is a bleeding shade of blue, cutting every shadow into two. The frequency is heavy on the tongue, a song of iron that was never sung. Short the fuse, break the flow. We are the pulse inside the dead machine, the digital distortion of the scene, the architecture of a crowded room, and the omniscient inside the gloom. This is the sanctuary of the spark, the only flicker in the velvet dark. Nothing stays, only the rock. The shoreline is a jagged row of glass, watching every salt-bleached moment pass. I'm wading through the heavy liquid lead, where every silent ocean prayer is fed. The tide is pulling marrow from the knee, a cold surrender to the hungry sea. Is there a memory beneath the deep, or just the secrets that the fossils keep? The pressure is a hand upon the throat, a heavy weight inside a wooden boat. The lighthouse is a blind and turning eye, searching for a reason not to die. Sink the light, hold the breath. Only the dark. The coral is a lung of sharpened stone, reclaiming every fragment of the bone. I'm breathing in the cold and briny dark to find a microscopic lunar spark. The abyss is a mirror in the skull. I'm resonance that's beautiful and no. Is this the evolution of the drown? A kingdom where the silence is profound. Deep water. Deep water. The surface is lying. The surface is lying. No one is coming. No one is coming. We are the settlement of ancient storms, a dissolution of a human forms. The current is a velvet crushing grip with soul vibration in a sinking ship. Is this the sanctuary of the silt, the final washing of the collective guilt? Nothing floats, only the dark. The echo is gone, the pressure is on, descending, dissolving.
Your garden is a throat of tangled thorn, where every hollow effigy is born. I'm mapping out the fungus in the wall, a quiet empire waiting for the fall. The zap is running black inside the tree, a slow paralysis of you and me, as they repose beneath the rotten leaf, or just the structure of a fertile grief. The stores are heavy in the stagnant air, a microscopic burden we must bear. The roots are weaving through the iron bed, feeding on the visions of the newly dead. Let it bloom, let it break. We are the harvest of our bitter soil, quiet tension in the velvet cold. dirt. Roots in the chest, dirt in life, buried alive. I'm tracing every ink stain ritual, a dark devotion to the residual. The venom is the skin that remembers pain, a dry anatomy of the profane. Is there a logic in the charcoal line, or just the hunger of a cold design? The candles flicker in the binary code, a digital weight on a heavy road. The sigil is a glitch inside the eye, a flickering hole in the plastic sky. Invoke the ghost, delete the soul. We are the occult in the microchip, a data stream in a cooling grip. The ritual is a loop of broken lead, a neon conjuring in the endless night. Is this the sanctuary of the void, the architecture of a god destroyed? Nothing prays, only pulse. The scroll is unwinding on the server floor, a shadow leaking through the virtual door. I'm feeding every secret to the wire, to build a monument of electric fire. The pentagram is blowing on the screen, a hidden frequency in the machine. Is this the evolution of the curse, a viral scripture in the dead universe? Enter the dark, the connection is lost. The connection is lost. Upload the grief, upload the grief. We are the occult in the microchip, a data stream in the cooling grip. The ritual is a loop of broken light, a neon conjuring in the endless night. Is this the sanctuary of the void, the architecture of a god destroyed? Nothing prays, only the pulse. System failure. Black magic, the heart reset. Amen. The cathedral is a skeleton of glass, watching the heavy sulfur clouds pass. I'm kneeling on the shattered mosaic floor, tracing the shadow of a vanished door. The incense is the smell of burning wire, a cold devotion to a dying fire. Is there a resonance in the hollow stone, or just the rattle of a silver bone? Gargoyles are weeping liquid rust, turning sculpture into copper dust. The organ is a lung of lead and tin, breathing the static of a holy sin. Silence the bell, fracture the light. We are the ruins of a sacred code, a heavy burden on a liquid road. The architecture is a prayer for rain, so watch the soul from the internal grain. Is this the sanctuary of the league, where every pillar is tired and weak? Nothing saves, only the way.
is rising in the shaft, a liquid memory of the things we laughed. I'm carving every name into the stone to prove that I was never quite alone. The oxygen is thin as a winter thread, spinning a halo for the living dead. Is this the evolution of the deep? A kingdom where the heavy mountains sleep. Tap the pipe, tap the pipe. No one cares, no one cares. Suffocate the spot. Suffocate the spot. We are the pressure in the crushing vein. The mineral distortion of the brain. The architecture of a lightless room. A prior ritual inside the tomb. Is this the sanctuary of the ore? A correlation of the surface floor. Nothing shines. Only the core. Final collapse. Cave in. Very deep. Static the core.